Over to England then for our first look at a trailer recovery. And I've picked this particular video because we're dealing here with what is known, at least in England and Europe, as a soft-sided trailer. In other words, there's very little strength in the walls, so we've got some extra problems to consider. Here the operator is weighing up the job and sighting his recovery vehicle in exactly the right situation to get an equal pull on both ends of the trailer. Does that sound right to you? Well, if it does, that's a pity, because it happens to be wrong. One of the first things you learn about recovering trailers is that you need to have most of your pull to the rear of the trailer and not to the front. For if you think about it, when you bring up a trailer onto its wheels, it's a kind of ribbon recovery. You start at the back and feed the power forward along the trailer, so that rather like a snake uncoiling, it will start to settle on its wheels from the back first, the tractor being the lightest part at the end. Then we have to consider at what point we are going to fit our nylon straps. Now, most people fit these when the trailer is about a foot off the ground, and I think this is the right time to do it. Because if you leave it any longer until the trailer is, say, 4 feet off the ground, then you've got to get very close to the trailer and in quite a dangerous situation in order to fit the straps. Don't forget, when you're putting your straps around the trailer, if you're using air cushions at some point, that under no circumstances must you allow a strap to come between the trailer and the air cushions. Otherwise, as I've told you previously, sure as the next day will come, when you pull on that strap, those cushions will fly out. And you may be injured, or you may injure somebody else. Here the operator obviously has been listening, because he's got the straps in the correct situation, well between an assorted bunch of air cushions, ready to do the final recovery. Notice that this trailer, which is fully loaded and weighs 80,000 pounds, has a fully closed pair of rear doors. This is extremely valuable, because if the doors have come open, you would be well advised to find some method of securing them in the first place, because they add strength to the rear of the trailer when you recover it. The operator has now moved his second vehicle into position, which he's going to use for restraining the trailer when it comes onto its wheels. Although we're using air cushions in this job, he would be in a position to do this without air cushions with the two units, using the wrecker, which is on the top of the trailer or up on the grass, to do a top lift, which I'll explain as the film goes on. Now, with a 2-to-1 reduction on each of the two winches attached to the nylon strops, which are in turn chained to the rear suspension of the trailer and the rear suspension of the tractor, we're able to do a controlled recovery and lower the trailer very gently to the road.